Hi again, welcome to ChessBase Workshop. I'm Steve Lopez, your host. Thank you for clicking on the link and joining us. Last time around we did a whole bunch of stuff in ChessBase. We were just doing a sample, this is what you do with ChessBase kind of thing, where we were researching an opening. Now I'll tell you, there's more you can do with ChessBase than just look at openings and just play through games. There's a ton of features here, but unfortunately there are a lot of people, and some of them are quite highly rated, that don't understand that this isn't just a glorified game viewer. However, what you do find out, and there's a ton of features here, honestly, and there was a guy, well, I'm not even going to tell that story, never mind, but I've worked with a bunch of masters and grandmasters that are stunned to find out that there are other things you can do in ChessBase besides just play through a whole bunch of games in a hurry. However, what a lot of people do, and that's at the club level as well, there are a lot of people interested in researching openings with ChessBase rather than middle games, end games, and other facets of the game. So, just to be orderly and organized, we're looking at how to create a database based on a certain opening and what you can do with it once it's created. We started the process in our last video. We created a database on the Cochrane Gambit in Petrov's defense and resorted it so the annotated games would appear at the top of the game list. As you see here on the screen down here in this bottom pane, you can see that the annotated games appear first, and we made that a permanent sort order. Well, if we double click on Cochrane Gambit and we go to opening keys, we get this, because we have not installed an opening key. That's what we're going to look at in this ChessBase workshop. We're going to show you how to create a key, or what we're actually doing is copying a key into a database on a particular opening. Now, you're going to have to do this the way I tell you to do it, and in the order, follow the steps in the order that I do them, or you're going to make a mess. So if you decide you don't want to do this, that's fine. I mean, don't feel bad. You've still got your database of games, and you can still go in and look for variations and whatnot by board position, the way we did in the last video. But if you'd like to make an index key of various variations in your opening of choice, in this case the Cochrane Gambit, this is how you do it. But you've got to do it in a specific order, and it's almost, in a way, counterintuitive. But if you pay attention to what I'm showing you, you'll be fine. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to take out, the mega database, the big database comes with this huge massive opening key with thousands of variations. We're going to take a small part of the mega database's opening key and copy it over to our Cochrane Gambit database. It's called transferring a key, and what it requires is two databases, of course. The source database, where the key presently is, is the mega database. The target database, where the little bit of key is going to be copied to the target, like shooting an arrow, is the Cochrane Gambit database. So I'm going to use these two terms, source and target. So don't get confused. Just want to explain it to you. First of all, when you click the Openings tab, you get this, and you get 4 choices. We're not going to pick Select Key because we don't have a Cochrane Gambit key just lying around. We're actually going to clip out a piece of a larger key and put it in here. So you don't want Select Key, and you don't want to install a big key or a small key. These are large opening keys that take in all the openings, and since we're just doing the Cochrane Gambit, we don't need keys for the King's Indian Defense and the King's Gambit and the Sicilian and the Caro-Kann, etc. So don't install a key. What you're going to do, don't install a big or a small key. What you're going to install is an empty key. You're just creating an empty key file that's going to be like the receptacle that we're going to copy this piece of a key from the source to. So click Install Empty Key. Takes a second. What you get is no games found. Well, no kidding, we don't have a key yet. This is all blank up here. Close the window for what's going to be your target database. In this case, the Cochrane Gambit database. Just close it. What we're going to do now is, and this is where we start getting into where you got to follow the steps. Go into the mega database, double click on it. Go to Openings, which shows the opening key. The Super Key by Joachim Juncker, which is a joy. You can find a ton of information. These are opening indexes. You can find games by clicking on a particular variation that you see listed in this opening index. We're looking for the Cochrane Gambit in the Petrov defense. So to find the Petrov, we need to go to Open Games. We were talking a little bit about that last week, the open games, the romantic era of chess. Click on the little plus sign to make the view a bit bigger. We look down the list, we find the Petrov defense here. Knight f6 was the second move for black, and the third move for white was knight takes on e5. So this is where we want to be, right here on this line. Click the plus sign, which will expand the view, and now we're seeing just Petrov defense moves. Now we run into a little bit of a problem here, and I'll show you what it is. The next move, of course, for black was d6, followed by a move other than knight f4, knight f3. That's what the little dashes here mean. And if we expand that view, we wind up with a whole bunch of keys here. And unfortunately, to get all of the Cochrane, we would have to copy all of these keys. There would be about 11 or 12 keys here we'd have to copy individually. So to do this as a short one-shot deal, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this whole key that says 3d6 followed by an offbeat move. Even though there's going to be a key here that we don't really need, we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. We're going to just live with it to save some steps. That's the key that we want, is the one that's highlighted. Now here's where you got to follow the steps. Find the key that you want, highlight it, but now come back down here, go to your database desktop, and single click on the target database. The database the key is going to be copied to, in this case the Cochrane Gambit. Just click once on it to highlight it. Okay, that's all you have to do. Don't double click, just single click. It's an important step, because what you're telling ChessBase in this step is you're identifying the target. You're identifying the spot that the key is going to be copied to. Just single click once on it to highlight it. That's it. Then go back to Mega Database or whatever large database that you're using. Okay? Right click on your highlighted key and select Transfer Key. You right click one time to get this menu. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. Find Transfer Key and click on it. This is why we did the last step, where we went back and identified the target database, because of this confirmation dialog. What it's saying is, are you sure you want to transfer the highlighted key, the 3d6 key, to the Cochrane Gambit database? Do you want to make that transfer? Do you want to copy it from Mega Database to the Cochrane Gambit database? Well, heck yeah, that's why we're here. So we're going to click OK, and we're going to wait for the little mouse cursor to stop spinning, which it has done. We can close this database now. Just close Mega Database, go back to the database desktop, double click on the Cochrane Gambit database, and when we click on openings, we see we have our key. There it is. The whole Megillah got copied, but you'll notice over here at the far right there are no games yet that have been sorted into these keys. That's another step that we have to take. We have to take those 600 plus games that from this database and have them sorted into these individual indexes. So to do that, you go to Opening Keys up here, and you select Classify All Keys, this button right here in the classification part of the ribbon. You'll see the pop-up. We'll go back to it. The mouse over pop-up. Classify all keys available with this database. That's what we want to do. So we'll click on this button. Any keys that you have, there will be a box for it. These four are grayed out, half-tone, because we don't have a theme, tactic, strategy, or endgame key installed. Only that opening key that we just transferred, that we just copied over. So all we have to check is openings. It's pre-checked for us. Click OK. Wait a few moments, and it's done. Notice here, 639 games is how many games are in our database, of course. And now we have individual opening variations where we can click on one, and we get a list of games down here for any of these opening variations of the Cochrane Gambit. Notice there is a 0. That is the 4 oddball move that isn't knight f7, because the position that we searched last week was the position after 4 knight f7 and then king takes on f7. There aren't going to be any games where white played a different move. So this is something we just have to live with. I could delete this key. In fact, let me try that right now. Actually, I think all I have to do, I don't think there's a command for it. I think I just hit the, it's been a long time since I've done this, so bear with me. I think I just hit the delete key on the keyboard. Delete keys, yes. Reclass by game, sure. And there we go. And I just got rid of the one key that I didn't need. So there we go. So now I don't have to live with it. If you wind up with a 0 that you don't want, just get rid of the thing the way I just did. Just hit the delete key on the keyboard. Highlight it, hit the delete key, and then just answer the confirmation dialogues. But that's how you do this thing. It actually seems a little counterintuitive, seems a little backwards, because of that middle step you have to take. Go to your large database, your mega database, identify the key you want to copy, then go back to your database desktop and select the database that you want the key to be copied to, the target database. Just select it by highlighting it. Then go back to mega database or whatever the database is that has the large key. Right click, select transfer, and copy the stuff over. And then just remember that once you're there, once you go back to your target database, the game's been copied. Just go up here to opening keys and classify all keys, and you're fine. And now you're done. And here we have, as I said, different keys I can click on to go to sets of games down here in which that particular variation gets played. Very simple. Just takes a couple steps, and you just need to know how to do it. Until next time in ChessBase Workshop, I'm Steve Lopez, reminding you to please do have fun.